Entertaining short stories, fables, and a variety of tales, fairy tales, tall tales, and trickster tales. Traditional short stories. A tradition is a custom or belief that is passed down through the generations. Certain traditional short stories were for entertainment, but they also might teach lessons while entertaining. These include short stories such as fables and various tales. Fables are short stories that use animals as characters to teach a lesson. They are stories passed down through the oral tradition, originating from places like India and Africa. Aesop was an ancient Greek storyteller who remains known for his famous collection of fables. One of Aesop's famous fables is the Tortoise and the Hare, which you might be familiar with. There is a race, and the hare sprints and rests, but the tortoise slowly and steadily continues the race. The tortoise never stops and ends up winning the race. Just as all fables do, there is a lesson. Slow and steady wins the race. Fairy tales are stories that feature conflicts between good and evil, with magic creating a happy ending. Each culture has their own version of certain fairy tales. Fairy tales often have one of the following universal themes: love, courage, kindness, cruelty, hate, among others. Hans Christian Andersen and the Brothers Grimm are famous authors who wrote many well-known fairy tales. Many Disney movies stem from the fairy tales that Hans Christian Andersen and the Brothers Grimm wrote. For example, the ideas of The Little Mermaid, Thumbelina, and Frozen all come from other fairy tales of the past. For example, The Little Mermaid features Ariel, who is good, and she is in conflict with the sea witch Ursula, who is bad. There are themes of love, hate, and magic all throughout the fairy tale. Tall tales are exaggerated, unreliable stories that are told as though they are true, but really known to be only for entertainment. They feature extraordinary main characters and sometimes are exaggerations of actual events. They became popular in America during the 18th century as a way for people to laugh. Tall tales are a main part of American folk literature. They started during the days of the Old West, when men tackled the American frontier and would sit around the fires at night needing entertainment. Some examples of tall tales include Johnny Appleseed, Davy Crockett, Calamity Jane, and Paul Bunyan. For example, there's a tall tale about Davy Crockett when he saw the sun frozen between two cakes of ice. He beat the dead bear on his back against the ice until hot oil poured out, and he used that oil to thaw the sun's axes so the sun would rise. Trickster tales are stories that include a trickster, a clever animal who plays tricks on other characters. They are typically silly, innocent, childlike pranksters who end up creating order out of chaos or teaching cultures a skill. Trickster tales stem from the oral tradition. Trickster tales are a main part of Native American literature. The coyote is a common trickster in Native American trickster tales, and the rabbit is common in trickster tales across the world. North American trickster tales often have a moral or lesson for the readers. Stories featuring the coyote or rabbit are often trickster tales. View the example of a trickster tale below, where Brer Rabbit ends up stealing milk from Sis Cow instead of helping her. Fables, fairy tales, tall tales, and trickster tales all serve as entertainment, although sometimes they may teach a lesson.
Created using Powtoon.